Hello, people. How's it going? Well, it's cold here in Minnesota. I think it's above zero finally. It was 14 degrees below zero when I got up. Anyway, I'm going to do a movie review of what I consider one of the dullest movies ever made. My phone is in charge. I'm sorry. Um, the greatest story ever told is boring. It is dull. It is boring. It is very long. It wasn't filmed anywhere near the Middle East. It was filmed in Nevada, Colorado, and Utah. It looks like it. And my biggest problem with this film, I know people like this movie. I know people like this film. My biggest problem with this film is very simple. This Jesus would make the Gnostics happy. This is a Gnostic Jesus. This is a almost otherworldly, not really human, sort of walking through humanity, not quite certain of what these creatures are who are looking at him. It's always been my problem with this movie. That and the fact that Max von Sydow is Swedish and not Jewish. And looks at. Oh, okay. He's a good actor, but I'm sorry, he's not a Jew. But anyway, my problem with this Jesus is very simple. He's Gnostic. He's otherworldly. He's almost not physically there. It's like he's from another world. He's not human. He doesn't. As much as I watched a commentary on this, and they were trying to portray him as being very relatable to humans. Um, Most humans I know don't act like that. This version of him is very Gnostic. It's spiritual. He's mystical. He's as I keep saying, he's almost like he's not really human. He's a spirit being. And I'm sorry, it's boring. The acting is boring. If this Jesus were to walk up to me, I would walk away. Okay, he doesn't instill anything other than okay, you're on something, so I'm going to leave now. You're not of this world. I mean, I get it. It's Jesus. He is God and he's man, but this version is almost 100% spirit being, or not even God. He doesn't even act like he's God of the Bible. He acts like a Gnostic Jesus. I'm sorry, that's how Max von Sydow's Jesus acts. That's the impression he gives me when I watched this movie. I watched it once, fully once. A few other times I tried to watch my way through it to see if I could like it again, and I can't like it again. I didn't like it the first time. I think it's boring. It's. I know people like this movie, and the one thing about this film I will give it is the characters outside of the Gnostic Jesus. Some of them are interestingly done, well done. I think Charlton Heston does a good job in The Baptist, though I think Michael York does a better job in Jesus of Nazareth. I will probably do that movie at some point. The disciples in this film are kind of there, but they're not. It's a very atmospheric movie to the point where normal people might die of boredom if life were really like that. It's boring. It's it's it's, it, it's a movie that's trying to do something that's not working. It's called atmosphere that feels alive and human, and it fails. I mean, the disciples. I mean, some of the actors like Roddy McDowell plays Matthew, and David Hedison, if I remember correctly, plays Philip. Um, David McCullum plays Judas. I don't remember who the actor who plays Peter. I think I know who it is, but I don't remember. I didn't look it up. I should have, but I didn't look it up. But they're not. I mean, Jamie Farr plays Jude or Simon. But I mean, those characters are not interesting. Those people are even boring. It's either, you know what it is? They're either very high or very low in their acting and their presence on the film. In the Jesus of Nazareth one, I should do a comparison one day, and I probably will. But it's too monotone for me. It's not human. This Jesus is not human. He's not a human being. He's a pure spirit being. The disciples look at him like they're under a spell of a mystical being, not of a person who they can't quite figure out who he is or what he's doing. I mean, the movie, the characters outside of Jesus in the film, some of them are interesting. Telly Savalas, who plays Pontius Pilate, is pretty interesting. It would be a toss-up between him and Rod Steiger in the other film. Rod Steiger plays a good job too. I have my notes over here. Herod the Great is played by Jose Ferrer. He's barely in the film. This is his last movie he made. And once again, Peter Ustinov in the other film is far better. Jose Ferrer plays more of a probably the Herod the Great he was at the end of his life, like a cankerous, angry, bitter, hateful old man. Peter Ustinov is more just wants to keep his throne. But Jose Ferrer's in this movie and he's fine. John the Baptist, as I said, John the Baptist played by Charlton Heston. I think Michael York does a little better job. I have to look at my notes. I'm sorry. I don't have all this in my head. It ain't gonna happen. Claude Rains plays Herod. No, did I? That's right. I wrote my notes wrong. I can't read my own writing sometimes. Herod Antipas is played by Jose Ferrer. Christopher Plummer and him play about the same. Not bad. Like I said, it's the characters outside of it that are more interesting. Even though in this movie, I'm sorry, they're boring too. I mean, I know people like this film, but to me, it's one long, giant, dull snooze fest of watching what would happen if Gnostics made a movie about the Bible. And that's what it is. If you watch how Max von Sydow does this character, he's Gnostic. Everything about him is Gnostic. He's spiritual, but he's not attached to anything. He's not human. I mean, despite the fact that Max von Sydow says he tried to be a very human Jesus, he comes across as being like he's on something. Like he's either stoned out of his mind, or he's not quite sure what these fleshy things are that are following him around. Or he's not sure what he's doing in this fleshy body. Like he doesn't come across as God in flesh. He comes across as a God not quite sure how he got into this flesh. Let's see. The devil is played by Donald Pleasance, which, okay, he's Donald Pleasance. He's scary enough as it is. I accept that. The Roman soldier played by John Wayne is laughable because, unfortunately, it's John Wayne in a Roman uniform saying one line, and I'm sorry, it's John Wayne. I love John Wayne, but this is typecasting that shouldn't happen. I keep looking at my notes. I know I shouldn't. I know it's distracting. I mean, Martin Landau plays Caiaphas. Anthony Quinn plays a better Caiaphas in the other movie. See, the problem is, I like a little bit of this film only for one reason. The characters around him have moments of interest, except it's like it's 99% not interesting and 1% that one moment that the movie is interesting about them. Because, yeah, I mean, you have Shelley Duvall, and I'm sorry, I love you, Shelley, but that's overacting. Your scene is overacting. I'm sorry. A lot of overacting in this film, or underacting. That's another problem. I mean, I've read the book, Greatest Story Ever Told. I'm not talking about the Bible. I mean, there is an actual book called The Greatest Story Ever Told. I read that years ago. But I know I keep repeating myself. It's a movie worth watching if you want to know how the Gnostics view Jesus. Not really human, not really of this world, spiritual to the point of he doesn't know how he got inside this fleshy body and is trying to get out. It looks like Utah, it looks like Nevada, it looks like Colorado. It doesn't look like Israel or the Middle East. I'm sorry, that's where it was filmed. Let's see, anything else on my note? Oh, this movie was up for 5 Academy Awards, though. Didn't win anything, but it was up for 5 Academy Awards. It was up for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Music. Okay, when they do Handel's Messiah in this film, that's the best music. I think the only thing about this movie, that's probably why I like Handel's Messiah, is I probably heard it on this movie when I watched it, and I liked it. And Best Effects. It didn't win anything, but it was nominated. So was When Dinosaurs Roamed the Earth, and that's a dinosaur movie made by Hammer Films, I believe. I think it's Hammer. Anyway, I'm trying to keep these things under 10, and I'm already at 10. So, um, I don't. Max von Sydow is a great actor, or was. He died, unfortunately. But it doesn't work. He's a tall Swedish guy playing a short Jewish man. Okay? I would make a better Jesus looking than Max von Sydow. I'm sorry. Just saying. Doesn't look Jewish. And he doesn't act Jewish. Not really. Superficially, he might, but not enough for me to say, okay, I'll follow you. There's nothing about his miracles that seem believable. I mean, they're almost done to the point where he's actually having to struggle to raise Lazarus from the dead. It's like, okay, you're God, you don't have to struggle. Come here, Lazarus, come. It's not that difficult. The music sometimes is distracting when it's Handel's Messiah. Like I said, a lot of the acting that isn't Jesus or Max von Sydow has its moments. Because Peter Telly Savalas' Pontius Pilate does kind of work. He's very intense. Telly Savalas' Pilate is intense, which is what it should be. So Telly Savalas is sort of an intense Pontius Pilate. Rod Steiger is more of a thinking man's Pontius Pilate, which is a good way to put it, I suppose. The outside world is still cloudy and it's still cold. It's okay. That's why I'm doing this video. Partly why I'm doing this video. Let's see. Did I forget anybody on my little list here? Not really. I have a list. I wrote notes down, and I want to make sure I got all my notes down. This was a spur of the moment thing. That's why it's kind of not done as well as it should be. But it's too long. It's like watching. It's like watching paint dry. I'm sorry. The greatest story ever told, 1965. And I'm sorry, George Stevenson, but your movie is boring. It's long. It's boring. The acting is monotone. Way too much. I'll probably do a movie review on the Jesus Nazareth miniseries, which I actually do like, but I don't like the Jesus portrayal. I like, once again, the characters around him. A lot of times I'll watch these movies not for the central character, but the characters around them. I find it very fascinating. I find it very interesting. I mean, the guy who plays Matthew in the Jesus Nazareth movie, I think does a very good job. I liked him. John Cassavetes is Peter in that movie. Does an excellent job. I'm trying to remember what the actor's name is who plays Peter in this movie. I can visually see him in my head, but I don't remember his name. I should have looked it up. But Sal Minio's in this movie too, and Carol Baker's in this movie. And I'm trying to do things off the top of my head. I can't remember. I forget who plays Mary Magdalene. But anyway, no, it was Mel Brooks' wife who played Mary Magdalene in the Jesus. That's the movie. I'm losing track of who that was. Drives me crazy when I do that. I should have looked it up, but anyway, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice because I like Max von Sydow. I like Charlton Heston. I like Jose Ferrer. I like all these actors in this movie. This movie just doesn't work. It's boring. It's boring. It's Avatar boring. It's Watchmen boring. Believe me, people. Watching The Watchmen when it was out was like, oh, I could not wait for that film to be over. I heard brain cells in my head dying. It was painfully boring. Not as bad. Actually, this movie is not as bad as The Watchmen. This movie is actually better than The Watchmen. Of course, smashing my finger with a hammer would have been more fun than watching The Watchmen. But that's just me. But anyway, that's going to be my movie review for this. I'm going to probably try to do some others. Be a little more organized next time. It's a movie that had promise. I've read the book. And the book is better, of course. Of course it is. It's always better. It's like the movie The Silver Chalice with Paul Newman. The book is probably always going to be better than that. Terrible. I've seen that movie once. But anyway, I'm ending this at 15. But I was hoping to end at 10, but whatever. 15 seems a good number. All right, I'm going to post this, people. You may tell me that I'm a complete buffoon if you wish. I see my new shirt. Look at that. Huh? Okay, people. See you later. Behave yourselves. Be good. You know I won't. See you later.